Alif, Laam, Meem, the names of letters of the Arabic alphabet, called huruf muqatta'at, occur at the beginning of several surahs of the Quran. At the time of the Quranic revelation, the use of such letters was a well-known literary device, used by both poets and orators. And we find several instances in the pre-Islamic Arabic literature that has come down to us. Since the muqatta'at were commonly used, the Arabs of that period generally knew what they meant, and so they did not present a puzzle. We do not notice, therefore, any contemporaries of the Prophet sallallahu peace be on him salam, raising objections against the Quran on the ground that the letters at the beginning of some of its surahs were absurd. For the same reason, no tradition has come down to us of any companion asking the Prophet about the significance of the muqatta'at. Later on, this literary device gradually fell into disuse, and hence it became difficult for commentators to determine their precise meanings. It is obvious, however, that deriving right guidance from the Quran does not depend on grasping the meaning of these vocables, and that anyone who fails to understand them may still live a righteous life and attain salvation. The ordinary reader, therefore, need not delve too deeply into this matter. 2. This is the Book of Allah, there is no doubt about it. It is guidance to God-fearing people. One obvious meaning of this verse is that this book, the Quran, is undoubtedly from God. Another possible meaning is that nothing contained in it can be subject to doubt. Books which deal with supernatural questions, with matters that lie beyond the range of sense perception, are invariably based on conjecture, and their authors, despite their brave show of competence, are therefore not immune from a degree of skepticism regarding their statements. This book, which is based wholly on truth, a book which is the work of none other than the all-knowing God himself, is distinguishable from all other books. Hence, there is no room for doubt about its contents, despite the hesitation some people might express, either through ignorance or folly. 3. This means that while the book is potentially for all, only those who possess certain qualities can benefit from it. The first such quality is piety. Those who want to benefit should be disposed to distinguish between good and evil, and to shun evil and do good. Those who lead an animal existence, who never to consider whether their actions are either good or bad, who cynically follow the prevailing winds, who are helplessly tossed about by the animal desires that dominate their minds, such persons are altogether incapable of deriving any benefit from the guidance embodied in the Quran. 3. Who believe in the unseen, establish the salats, and expend sign out of what we have bestowed on them. This is the second prerequisite for deriving benefit from the Quran. Gaib signifies the verities which are hidden from man's senses and which are beyond the scope of man's ordinary observation and experience, for example, the existence and attributes of God, the angels. The process of revelation, paradise, hell, and so on. Belief in the Ghaib means having faith in such matters, based on an absolute confidence in the messengers of God, and despite the fact that it is impossible to experience them. According to this verse, Quranic guidance can prove helpful only to those prepared to affirm the truths of the suprasensory realm. People who make their belief in these questions conditional upon sensory perception of the object of belief, and who are not prepared even to consider the possibility of the existence of things that cannot be weighed or measured, cannot profit from this book. 5. This is the third requirement. It is pointed out that those to whom belief means merely the pronouncement of a formula, who think that a mere verbal confession of faith is enough, and that it makes no practical demands on them, can derive no guidance from the Quran. To benefit from the Quran, it is essential that a man's decision to believe should be followed immediately by practical obedience to God. Prayer is the first and continuing sign of practical obedience. No more than a few hours can pass after a man has embraced Islam than the mu'adhin calls to prayer, and it becomes evident whether or not the profession of faith has been genuine. Moreover, the mu'adhin calls to prayer 5 times every day, and whenever a man fails to respond to his call, it becomes clear that he has transgressed the bounds of practical obedience. An abandonment of prayer amounts to an abandonment of obedience. Obviously, if a man is not prepared to follow the directives of his guide, it is immaterial whether or not true guidance is available to him. It should also be noted that the expression establishment of prayer has a wider meaning than mere performance of prayer. It means that the system of prayer should be organized on a collective basis. If there is a person in a locality who prays individually but no arrangements are made for congregational prayer, it cannot be claimed that prayer is established in that locality. 6. The fourth prerequisite for a person to benefit from the Quran, demands that the person concerned should neither be niggardly nor a worshipper of money. On the contrary, he should be willing to pay the claims on his property of both God and man, and should not flinch from making financial sacrifices for the sake of his convictions. Who believe in the book we have sent down to you, the Quran, and in the books sent down before you, and firmly believe in the hereafter. Commentary 7. The fifth requirement is that one should believe in the books revealed by God to his prophets in the various ages and regions of the world, in the book revealed to Muhammad sallallahu be on him, as well as in those revealed to the other prophets who preceded him. The door of the Quran is closed to all those who do not consider it necessary for man to receive guidance from God. It is also closed to those who, even if they believe in the need for such guidance, do not consider it necessary to seek it through the channel of revelation and prophethood, but would rather weave their own set of ideas and concepts and regard them as equivalent to divine guidance. This door is also closed to those who believe in divine books as such, but confine this belief to those books accepted by their forefathers and spurn divine guidance revealed to anyone born beyond their own racial and national boundaries. The Quran excludes all such people and is prepared to open the source of its grace only to those who believe that mankind does require divine guidance, who acknowledge that this guidance does not come to people individually but reaches them through prophets and divine books, and who are not given to racial or national chauvinism but are devotees of truth alone, and are therefore prepared to submit to divine guidance wherever it be found. 8. Belief in the afterlife is the sixth and last requirement. The term al-akhirah embraces a whole set of ideas, seal that man is not an irresponsible being, but is answerable to God for all his conduct in this world, that the present order of the world is not timeless, but will come to an end at an appointed hour known only to God, that when this world comes to an end, God will bring into being another world in which he will resurrect, at one and the same moment, all the human beings ever born on earth. He will gather them together, examine their conduct, and grant each one just reward for his actions, that those who are accounted good in God's judgment will be sent to heaven, and those judged by him as evildoers will be consigned to hell. VC, that the real measure of success and failure is not one's prosperity in the present life, but one's success or failure according to God's judgment in the next. Those who do not accept this set of beliefs can derive no benefit from the Quran. For if a man is merely in a state of doubt and hesitation with regard to these matters, let alone disbelieving them, he cannot advance even one step forward along the path charted out by the Quran. 5. Translation: such people are on the right way from their Lord, and such are truly successful. Translation: as for those who have rejected these things, it is all the same to them. Whether you warn them or do not warn them, they are not going to believe. Commentary, that is, those people who do not meet these 6 requirements, or reject all or any one of the fundamentals set out above. 7. Translation: Allah has sealed up their hearts and ears, and a covering has fallen over their eyes, and they have incurred the severest punishment. Commentary 10. This does not mean that their rejection of the truth is a consequence of God sealing their hearts. What is meant is that God sealed their hearts and ears as a consequence of their decision to reject the fundamentals of faith, of their deliberate choice of a path divergent from that charted out by the Quran. Anyone who has worked for the dissemination of the truth often finds that if, after full consideration, a person decides against a doctrine, his mind begins to move in a completely opposite direction, so that he fails to appreciate anything that is explained to him. His ears become deaf, his eyes are blinded to the merits of that doctrine, and one gets the distinct impression that the person's heart has indeed been sealed. Translation: Then there are some who say, "We believe in Allah and the Last Day," whereas they do not believe at all. Translation: They thus try to deceive Allah and the believers, but they succeed in deceiving none except themselves, and they realize it not. These people delude themselves that their hypocritical behavior will profit them, when in fact it will prove harmful both in this world and the next. A hypocrite may be able to fool people for a while, but it does not last long. His hypocrisy is ultimately seen through. As for the next life, it is obvious that his claim to be a true believer is contradicted by his own actions and is thus quite worthless. Translation: In their hearts is a disease which Allah has increased all the more, and a painful doom is in store for them for the lie they utter. Commentary: Disease here refers to the disease of hypocrisy. The statement that Allah has intensified this disease means that He does not punish the hypocrites immediately, but allows them to indulge in their hypocrisy and exult in the success of their ruses. This feeling of success intensifies their hypocrisy.